My daughter said her teacher disappears during lunch.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
Welcome to Project Nihilist, everyone. I want to start off by apologizing for not making any videos recently. You know, life happens, and I really haven't came across anything I felt like talking about. But then this channel, Snarvio, come up in my feed, and I don't know what to make of it. See, there was a time in my life with all the sex, the drugs, and the rock and roll that I'll admit life was somewhat chaotic. But it was nothing like this guy's day to day. Every day is a struggle for this guy, some sort of strife, trials, and tribulations. And unfortunately, a lot of it centers around his daughter, who might actually be a demon. I am sincerely worried about this girl because this guy is obviously nuts. And with that said, let's get into it.
No, I wasn't mid-traffic. But I stopped at this red light and I turned around towards her. She said, "Dad, my teacher disappears every day at lunchtime."
Understand this. She doesn't mean leaves the room. She means vanishes from reality. For the sake of brevity, I'm going to edit out a little bit. She says that the teacher never comes back, that they're alone for the rest of the day. He emailed the school and hopefully they said, "You're being silly." And then he explained to his daughter that she shouldn't lie, and if it had went down like that, we wouldn't be here waiting for this gem.
So the next day, I showed up at lunchtime and waited by the teacher's bathroom. The door opened, but no one walked out.
What?
I stepped inside. The light was still on. Her keys were on the sink, but there was nobody in the bathroom. And I swear I heard my daughter's whisper behind me. "See, I told you she disappears. Can someone explain this? And how did the door just magically open?"
I don't believe it.
There it is. The teacher disapparates into thin air. The door magically springs open. His daughters were maybe standing there talking. He's not too sure. No one else notices this stuff. Nobody reports it. The kids, they go hide under the bleachers, smoking cigarettes for the rest of the day. Nobody cared there was a creepy dude hanging out by the restrooms for no reason. There are hundreds of comments going, "Praise Jesus," quoting scripture and thanking him for protecting our children. Anyway, let's move on to another video. Trust me, we're just getting started.
I want to tell you my secret now.
My neighbor waved at me this morning, but I found out he passed last night.
I see dead people.
My neighbor across the street waved at me from his porch. He always does. Same gray hoodie, same slow wave. I waved back, didn't think anything of it. About an hour later, I saw flashing lights out front, 2 sheriff units. Then a coroner van pulled up. I walked over and asked what happened. One of the officers said he passed away last night around 9:40 p.m.
They don't know they're dead.
Is this normal behavior? I wonder how anyone can take him seriously. If you said this stuff to me, I'd tell you to your face that you're crazy. But there are hundreds of comments encouraging this nonsense. He sees dead people everywhere. There's a video where he took his daughter to school on a holiday to play, and there were these ghostly teachers in Victorian garb having a meeting, as if the school had been there since Victorian times or whatever. What's disturbing to me is how this stuff has to be messing with his daughter's mind.
My daughter's teacher humiliated her in class, and I wasn't having it. My daughter came home today with tears in her eyes. She told me the kids were laughing at her because she shared something in class that no one else understood.
We don't know what she shared, and he's not going to tell us. In another video, she sees a deceased classmate wandering this mortal plane of existence. Now, this is likely going to be a major issue for a bunch of 8-year-olds who don't understand loss and are possibly still grieving. Of course, any child is going to feel attacked having this bad behavior corrected. This father, however, encourages it and calls it special.
But the worst part, she said her teacher was the one who told everyone she wasn't normal. Her own teacher.
That'd be messed up if it was true. I have my doubts it went down that way. This guy is just going to naturally overreact, drive to the school as though the teachers are still going to be there for some reason. This shit is too important to wait until tomorrow. He's seeing red.
I couldn't sit with that. So I drove straight up to the school. And before I even made it through the doors, I heard her. The teacher was standing outside with other staff, still talking about my daughter, still making jokes, still humiliating her, even after class was over. That's when I walked right up and said, "Why are you talking about my child like this? Why would you embarrass her in front of everyone?" She looked me in my eyes and said, "Because she's different. Because what she says isn't normal."
This is all weird to me. I know he only has 3 minutes to tell his story, but I can't explain it. It's like those I caught a fish this big kind of lies, like something probably happened, but it didn't go down like this. Maybe from his perspective, he heard the teacher say she's not normal. However, it's not normal for a kid to go around and, for example, say they see their dead classmates out and about, wandering around and saying she has visions of the future and stuff.
I didn't do much because I couldn't as a man, right?
That's right. As a man, you got to puff up, get loud, cause a scene, possibly fight, and have the last word. You don't, for example, go to the manager and get the employee fired because that's what chicks do.
That was all I needed to hear. I didn't argue, I didn't yell. I went straight to the principal. And the principal didn't hesitate. She called the teacher in and suspended her right on the spot. Different doesn't mean broken. Different means brave.
I don't know what he means by different. Maybe he's talking about a physical or mental disability, but I suspect he means that the other kids are making fun of her because she lies like a rug, and she's learned this from you, dude. She sees you walking around lying all the time, and monkey see, monkey do. You should be ashamed of yourself.
We finally found a church that accepted my daughter until they asked me to pay to stay. Halfway through the service today, one of the deacons tapped me on the shoulder and just pulled me to the side, actually to the back. I thought maybe he just wanted to welcome us or just explain how things work. Instead, he said, if you want to be a member here, there's a fee. I laughed a little and said, "Oh, you mean like tithes and offering?" He shook his head. "No, this isn't for offering. This is a protection fee." That's when I started thinking protection. I asked him, protection from what?
What do you mean protection from what? You worship an apocalyptic God who's coming back any second now with fire in his eyes, waving a sword in his mouth to destroy the entire planet. And if you're not one of his chosen few, you'll be sent to hell for all of eternity and tortured. I'm surprised this is new information to you. It's usually pretty effective at converting the masses. But have you heard the great news? You can basically do whatever you want as long as you're sorry for it a fraction of a second before you die.
This is the house of God. He looked at me, right in my eyes and said,
Yazoo!
with children like yours, strong spirits follow. Some notice, some don't. But if you want her safe here, you pay. I told him I'm not paying for my daughter to belong anywhere, especially not a church. He leaned closer, almost whispering, but not quiet enough. Families who don't pay, don't stay.
You know what they say, gas, grass, or ass. Nobody rides for free. It's their church. They can run it however they want. They want to charge a membership, they can. It's always been the most awesome MLM in history, and they don't even have to peddle crappy nutrition bars or dick lengthening pills. Why do you think so many others have used the model? What I'm wondering is, did you even listen to the pitch? Maybe they have some awesome programs for your kids, or they sponsor missions, or, want to pave the parking lot or something.
The whole moment felt darker than a sermon going on behind us. It wasn't about faith. It felt like a threat.
I don't know what you expected, sitting around holding hands and singing Kumbaya. Look, you'll worship their guy or else he'll torture you forever. And the only way you could find out is to actually die, and then it's already too late. Personally, I don't know why you want that for you and your children. It's like you're so close to realizing it's all nonsense, but then you just go to other churches based on the same faith. You don't even try to mix it up.
And the strangest part, my daughter was sitting across the aisle. She looked at me like she already knew what was being said, almost like she heard it before.
Of course she's heard it before. You probably tell her 2 or 3 times a day that she's weird. The problem is she's reaching an age where children are learning that there aren't monsters hiding under their bed and a jolly fat guy isn't committing B&E every year to bring them presents. I'm just concerned that you aren't helping your daughter by telling her that she's actually talking to ghosts in her bedroom and seeing your dead father cooking in the kitchen. This guy has videos where he talks about the school staff contacting him about this and that, his mental health, his daughter, all this shit. But the numbers on my bullshit detector are so high, I don't know what to believe. But I know one thing for sure, he's not actually seeing ghosts.
They turned us away from church because of my daughter. This morning, we tried a different church, a fresh start, new faces, new pastor. But the second we walked through the doors, the pastor froze. He didn't greet us, didn't smile. He just stared at my daughter, then shook his head. He stepped forward and said quietly, I can't let her come inside. I thought maybe we made a mistake, maybe we were late, maybe we used the wrong entrance.
This was actually the first video of his I'd seen. I was getting super pissed off. I thought he was going to say they turned him away because he was black or his daughter was disabled or they were poor or something. Hence, I fell down this fucked up rabbit hole.
So I asked him why. He glanced down at my daughter, then leaned closer to me and whispered,
Wank!
Because I was warned. I asked, warned by who?
Possibly everyone who knows about you and that dark cloud of drama that follows you around like a lost puppy. You've got so many videos where you complain about people, use their name, and say you've gotten them fired. People don't want to associate with an asshole like that. Have you ever considered that you might just be the problem?
And his voice dropped low. A spirit told me this morning, don't let the child in.
So that guy's delusional too, y'all hearing voices, and hell, you could sit around and pretend together. You should all get along swimmingly, sitting around making shit up.
My daughter squeezed my hand, and then she whispered, Dad, that's the same voice I heard before.
I am flabbergasted. What's that supposed to mean? Let me guess, she's also a prophet, some kind of soothsayer. The Bible says, thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. And here you are going to churches all over the place and telling them that your child meddles with the forces of darkness. I think it's all nonsense, but a lot of people take this shit as serious as a heart attack.
The pastor didn't explain further. He just turned, almost like he wanted to get away from us.
What do you mean like? He didn't want to get away from you. He got away from you. Even if you weren't talking all this nonsense, the crazy just oozes out of you. I can see it in your eyes.
I raised my voice, asked, You're really denying a child the house of God? He stopped, looked over his shoulder, and loud enough for the staff behind him to hear, he said,
Blardy, blardy, blar.
Come on, dude. This has nothing to do with your kid. Your feelings are hurt because you make people uncomfortable and they don't want to be around you. It really says something when it happens in a church, multiple churches. I know I'm hard on religion. I think it's a cancer, but in general, the people are usually okay. They say silly shit from time to time like, Jesus loves you and I love you, but you're going to burn for all of eternity. I didn't make the rules.
My church already struggles with darkness. I won't let it grow stronger with her here. And then he walked away, leaving us standing there at the entrance. They didn't just reject us, they rejected her.
How dare they? He is so broken up over all this. I like how he made that face and he didn't realize that when he said us, that already included her. That's enough of this nonsense for now. He's maybe a single parent who also exploits his son. He plays the race card like crazy too. Tow truck drivers charge him extra money. Rest stop restrooms won't let him in. His daughter sees dead classmates. The church locked the door and held them hostage. The daughter is suspended again. This sounds a lot like a child's worst nightmare. I don't know. Maybe I'm the asshole. Well, I'm definitely an asshole, but what's this guy's excuse? Anyway, if you made it this far, you totally suck. I'll see you later, space cow person.